What's up guys, we are finally here to talk about Genesis Testament Volume 13, the latest entry in the Index light novel, and my god, this series is progressing in a way I honestly didn't expect. And credit to Kamachi, this volume has been somewhat divisive, controversial. I feel like every Genesis Testament volume that comes out is under that category, no doubt. It's kind of weird in that sense that we had the Kamisato arc back in New Testament, which was, yeah, you either loved it or you hated it, but it feels like we're kind of back to that, but not at the same time. I mean, I feel like everyone enjoys like the characters that are around now instead of like people hating Kamisato and his harem. Now it's more so the writing decisions that Kamachi is making, and I don't know, are people trying to wrap their head around just what the hell's happening in this story right now? I think that's what it is, because every volume in Genesis Testament is ending on a cliffhanger, and it's insane. This is, I've said it once before, this is cliffhanger testament. I mean, the previous volumes of Index had cliffhangers every now and then, but these ones are like, come on, Kamachi, I need more. Like, this volume ended, and I was like, is that it? Like, there's no bit beyond the epilogue? And I was kind of disappointed in that, I gotta admit, but listen, I want to talk about everything that happened in this volume. Well, mostly everything. I'll do a quick summary and talk about the spoilers. So if you're not up to date with the next light novel, this video will have spoilers, so you have been warned, because there is no way I can like talk about this in a safe way. I have to talk about, you know, everything that's happened up until now. So yeah, Choronzon is back. Choronzon has taken over Alistair's body, and it's like hinted that, oh, is Alistair still inside Choronzon, or is he gone for good now? We find out later on that he's still there, but at the start it's kind of this mystery whether Choronzon has fully eradicated Alistair. But either way, Choronzon being Choronzon, her sole purpose for existing is to basically destroy everything, including herself and the universe of phases, the pure world, all the laws of the world. Yeah, literally everything. She wants everything gone. Since she tried that in New Testament 22 with this somewhat convoluted ritual over in Scotland, Edinburgh, she is unable to do that, obviously, because she's not in Britain. She can't just redo it, and the Royal Yacht Britannia was split in half, so that's her temple gone. So she's trying to do the best she can. She comes up with this ritual spell thing called Adikalika, which is based upon this Hindu goddess. Alistair used the legend for some spell, and then Choronzon's using it in her own way to bring the end to the world in a way. But it's not going to destroy the entire world and the phases like the big Moa Fair spell from New Testament 22. This one is more low in scale, but it's going to cause a chain reaction in the world, and it's basically going to cause World War IV if nothing is done about it. So it's basically just going to destroy Italy and turn everyone into like guts and bones and shit. Because Choronzon must hate Italians, clearly. And that's not the only person who hates Italians in this volume. We'll talk about you, Hamazura. Oh my god, Hamazura. Hamazura was on some sauce, I tell you, but we'll talk about him later. So that's Choronzon's plan. She's basically, she can't target the Anglican Church, she can't target the UK this time, because this is a Crowley Alistair-based spell, and the UK has a lot of defenses against Alistair's magic from the outside. If you're on the inside, it's no problem, I guess, but so she's having to target the Roman Catholic Church instead, which is still the biggest church in the world. But despite that, the Roman Catholic Church hasn't been really that relevant for a long time. So it was nice to see that the Roman Catholic Church is still a thing, even though, yeah, God's Right Seat obviously has been disbanded, and we don't really get to see much from them now, which is kind of disappointing. But hey, I'm glad they're still, you know, I'm glad Kamachi has brought them up again, and they're actually relevant to the plot. She's basically going to target the Roman Catholic Church and from Academy City, which is then going to make the Roman Catholic Church target Academy City and also the Anglican Church. What's making things more complicated is the fact that the revelation that Academy City is basically being inspired by the magic side. Everything is, you know, built up from magic side concepts. That's how Alistair intended it, as it's basically a huge temple to summon angels, and Choronzon is using that to power her spell. And we pretty much already knew that, but apparently the magic side was completely oblivious. I mean, they saw Fuse Kazakiri in World War III and just thought, nah, nah, there's no relevance to this whatsoever. Where did she come from? Doesn't matter. But yeah, the magic side's kind of freaking out that Academy City has broken the Magic Science Treaty. Academy City is going to be on the receiving end, and also the Anglicans have taken over Academy City because Accelerator has completely lost the plot. It's just been chaos for the entire time. So the Anglicans have invaded Academy City, taken over control. So yeah, the status quo has been like really disrupted. And yeah, so it's basically going to cause a chain reaction. It's going to cause World War 4 or whatever, as everything is basically going to go to shit if Kuronzon pulls off this spell. So of course, Toma and his allies have got to stop her. Toma faces down Kuronzon with the magic gods. They get like defeated off screen, and then Toma basically goes with Alice to meet with Dion Fortune, Hamazura, and co. And they basically get a rundown about what Kuronzon's plot is, and they need to stop her before midnight, of course. Just like Shrek 2. Accelerator is also in contact with Toma, and we also get some of the Transcendents helping out. One I can't remember the name of, which is hard to pronounce. And Alice are the main Transcendents that are involved. And things are heating up on the Anglican side of things as well, as Style is trying to recover from getting his ass beat from the previous volume. They're also aware that Index must be kept away from Kuronzon because obviously it's implied that Kuronzon created Index in some capacity. We don't really know Index's backstory fully. I hope we find out eventually. It would be nice. But she's going to be kept away from Kuronzon because Kuronzon will use the grimoires for her advantage. So they kind of like put her in a prison place in Academy City, in an Academy City facility. But Kanzaki breaks her out and says, oh, you got to find Toma, because Toma needs your help. But we did get to see like a lot of cameos, which is nice to see. We got to see Itsuwa back. But what's crazy is that we do get Isabella Theism, a character who is from the Agnese side story Blu-ray special. She makes her debut in the Index light novels. And while Isabella had like a small role in Agnese SS, I really liked her like design. I think she was like kind of creepy, kind of weird. And she's definitely one of the more interesting characters in this volume, as the Anglican Church doesn't really trust Dion Fortune, who's the new Anglican bishop, as obviously Dion was created by Kuronzon, and no one really wants to do what she wants them to do. So that's why the Anglicans are like kind of trying to fight amongst themselves about what to do about Kuronzon and who's going to take the lead. And yeah, it made me think like, why the hell was Dion even allowed to become Archbishop if this is the case? Like, I know Dion is, you know, the best Anglican magician in terms of her knowledge. I mean, she's not even the real Dion. She's a magical book that was molded off Dion. You get me? But no, I get the fact that, yeah, she's got a lot of knowledge. She's powerful. So, but if you've been in the church for like years and years, and then some random magical book that the evil Archbishop, who is a demon, made, was then made Archbishop, you'd be like, what the fuck? So that's one gripe I do have with this. Like, what? And it was something I took issue with last time. Like, why was Dion made the Archbishop? Was it just the fact that Queen Lizard saw what Dion did during the KNT dilemma in New Testament 22R and thought, yeah, we'll give it her? Like, I don't know. Did she think the church would be easier to control if they had Dion there? Because I know there's like the power dynamic between the royal family, the church, and the knights. So yeah, it made me think like, why was Dion put into this role? So let me know what you think about that. Other than that, yeah, Isabella decides she's going to be the one to lead the magic side, not Style, so she kind of wrecks Style. I mean, Style's always used to getting wrecked. And Isabella, she's willing to cut corners. She's not exactly a morally good character. And she does have this fight with Kihara Goke, who, yes, of course, is still alive from the previous volume. She bit her tongue. And that fight was pretty cool, not going to lie. I wasn't expecting it, of course. But yeah, that's probably the best fight of the volume. Like, I was expecting the Kuronzon fights to be better where Kuronzon's, you know, fighting whoever she was going to fight in this volume. But no, like, this fight probably had the best action for me, to be honest. Kihara Goke, her character's definitely improved from the previous volume. She's basically like this ultimate cyborg Kihara. Like, every part of her body is like modified in some capacity. But makes me think, like, why didn't she pull out any of these tricks when she fought Mizuka and Shokuho? She's like one of the morally good Kiharas. She's not like an evil Kihara. I think Kamachi notes that she's similar to Kagun in that way, as, yeah, she kind of wants to go against the usual stereotype of Kihara. She wants someone to recognize her. She helps this random kid where Isabella just like is willing to let this kid just get murdered by one of Kuronzon's hair demon angel things. And Gokei is like, she's not having that. And then that's the reason why they fight. Like, Gokei sees her do that, and she's like, all right, you're not a good person. I'm fighting you. I'm still kind of curious though, like, what was the whole deal over Biosecure and Toma's body? I guess they must know that Toma's body is special. I mean, look at his regeneration, look at why the dragons are in him, etc. So they must have known it. I just want to know more about Kiharu Gokei's plan in regard to Toma, like the whole Biosecure thing. I hope that does get explained at some point, but the more this drags on, I doubt it. One thing to note is that Toma and his allies don't really have like a concrete plan to stop Kuronzon. I think like Toma even notes that he's never had to like plan in advance for defeating an opponent. He just kind of goes in. He just follows his feelings, you know, Toma. He just goes ahead regardless. He's not much of a thinker. He thinks in the moment. When he's in the moment, he strategizes, but he's not one to meticulously plan like Alistair would. So there isn't really a plan. It's just like, oh, we'll get to Kuronzon where the windowless building is, well, used to be, and we'll just parachute in on these planes because we're going to distract Kuronzon with some explosions, and we're going to parachute in as the explosions are happening. But yeah, it made me think that surely like Accelerator and Dion would be like, hey, we're going to plan how to defeat her. And no emphasis was put on Alice either. Like, no one said like, oh, Alice, your power, you can warp reality, right? Why don't you use that on Kuronzon? I mean, you've got enough range to throw something like halfway across the galaxy, apparently. Honestly, we need more clarification. Like, why is Alice not doing more against Kuronzon? I know the whole deal of her fighting the magic gods in the previous volume where she was like, oh, I don't want to like do collateral damage on the world and destroy it. I get that, but in GT, she's literally stopped time as two Transcendents were fighting and then just like easily beat them both. Why can't she do that? Is it because her magic runs off the Tree of Sephiroth, and obviously Kuronzon is the guardian of the Tree of Sephiroth in the sphere of the At? That is probably the reason why, but Kamachi has not bothered to explain that. Or unless he's just thinking, oh yeah, I'll just let the readers figure it out. Which he does sometimes, but hey. But Alice did not fight Kuronzon in this volume, which I was surprised at. I honestly thought we would get that. As they're parachuting in, Alice basically gets lost, or I think Kuronzon intended it from what she was saying to Toma. Clipper Puzzle 545 faces down Kuronzon first. Yeah, Clipper Puzzle 545 is willing to do this Leviathan spell, which would end up sacrificing her entire personality essence, and I think it would kill her as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But she's stopped by Hamazu and Takitsubo, who arrived just before she's about to do it. Toma is the one, basically, who will continue fighting Kuronzon. And this is Chapter 4, and Chapter 4 is easily the best chapter in the entire volume. It really reminded me of, like, Toma versus Fuyama, like their philosophical conversation that they had. Just the entire theming of it reminded me so much of that, and I really enjoyed it. Even though there wasn't too much action. Yes, Toma does fight Kuronzon, but he doesn't really put much of a fight. He gets like overwhelmed by Kuronzon's attacks. Obviously, Kuronzon is way more powerful than Base Toma. Base Toma can't really do anything to her. He has to rely on the fish eggs. He does like kind of push away Magic Flaming Sword, which is new, as previously he was turned into a bloody turd whenever he got hit by that when Kuronzon had her physical vessel. But no, at least he has adapted to that. But it doesn't matter, Toma gets defeated, and I think the narration says that he was pretty much on the edge of death, like the same feeling he got when Alice killed him. So Toma needs a doctor, he needs Heather Chancellor, he's still alive, of course. And then we get Hamazura talking to Kuronzon. Toma tried to talk no jutsu Kuronzon, but Kuronzon just said, hey, listen, my very purpose for existing is to be evil, is to basically destroy the entire universe. This is my nature. I have no other reason for existing. This is the only thing I do. I don't have the same moral compass as humans. I am on a different level to that. I am basically a demon / the angel of Zax. Before this, the volume was hinting, exploring Kuronzon's morality. What is the essence of Kuronzon? So this was built up for the entire volume. But then we get Hamazura talking to Kuronzon. And this was eyebrow raising. We know Hamazura sided with Kuronzon in New Testament 22 because he wanted to save Dion, and he was willing to literally physically assault Takitsubo to try to do that to win Kuronzon's good favor. Because Kuronzon loves destroying the bonds between people. That's what she gets off on. And if she can do that as much as possible while she's destroying the world, she will fully embrace it. Which is why she basically manipulated Style and Kanzaki into removing the memories of their best friend, Index. It's been a consistent theme from the very beginning, which is messed up. It's crazy to think about. So we had that, we had Hamazura spending the most time with Kuronzon during New Testament 22. And Hamazura thinks he's the guy to try and, mediate with Kuronzon or come to some, diplomatic resolution with Kuronzon. And Kuronzon just thinks he's naive. Like, Kuronzon just views him as a pawn. She views him as absolute insect. Because this guy, Hamazura, has no powers whatsoever. He's not important. He doesn't have a magic breaker. He's not the #1 Esper. He's not the board chairman. And, speaking of Accelerator, he tries to intervene with some lightning, and then Kuronzon's like, hey, if you can hit me from here, I can hit you from wherever you are too. And she just sends something back up to him, and he's like, oh fuck, and then he just gets beaten. Yeah, back to Hamazura. Like, Kuronzon thinks he's just absolutely naive trying to talk to her, and it was built up is Kuronzon an absolute evil or a relative evil? She even says that, why do I exist? Surely, the god of Index, whatever the god or omnipotent creator being in Index, whatever that is, they created Kuronzon to balance the world out in a way, as she represents destruction. And if she does exist, then surely there must be a reason for her to exist. I mean, it's about the balance between good and evil, the balance between life and death. And if she is evil, what is her purpose? And Hamazura kind of explores that. He embraces it in a way, which is crazy. As Hamazura was on some sauce this volume. Some of the stuff he was wild in, he's super controversial, because he literally says, well, Kuronzon, you've tried to destroy the world once, or the universe, and now you're doing the same thing again. Maybe the world's trying to tell us something. And Hamazura has seen all the bloodshed. I mean, not just from Operation Handcuffs in Genesis Testament 3, which I definitely think has molded his new outlook on the world, but also the amount of times that Takitsubo's life has been threatened, and all the hardships of the dark side and everything that's involved in the city. And World War 3, of course. He's witnessed all that, and he's maybe the world shouldn't be saved. Maybe the world does need to be reset. Fuck Italy. Italy can go off the map. Kuronzon, go ahead. He's basically saying that. And Kuronzon is dumbstruck at this. She can't understand why a human would be saying this. It's he's embracing her reason for doing this. And Kuronzon herself, it's revealed that she is actually unwilling. I think she wants free will, but the god of Index has basically determined this is her only reason for doing things, and this is her only path, and she can't stray away from it. This is the only thing she knows. She can't do anything else. Part of her kind of falters as she goes ahead with the Adicalica, as she basically releases it. I mean, she takes care of Hamazura. Hamazura basically, obviously, he's not going to put up a fight, is he? Against an all-powerful demon. I think it's interesting that Hamazura has gone this route, because I've always been curious, what's the direction with Hamazura in Genesis Testament and Index as a whole? Because obviously we know the direction for Toma. Toma's basically been the mainstay of Genesis Testament. He's been way more active than Accelerator and Hamazura. Toma's become more selfish. He's no longer focused on saving everyone. He's very selective now. He didn't save Anna Kingsford or CRC, and they basically got condemned to literal hell. And he basically went on and wanted to prioritize his own life. And even in this volume, he's I don't want to die again. He's living for himself primarily, which is nice to see. Toma has progressed in that way. And Accelerator, we know how he's progressed in he's locked himself up. He's become very isolated. He views this is the way he needs to atone for his sins, by living out a life sentence behind bars while also trying to protect the city. Well, he's also failed to do that. Let's just face it. Accelerator, look at the state of the city. It's overrun by the Anglicans. You've had countless invasions from the Transcendents fucking up the city. You had CRC rampaging. And now you've had Kuronzon being released. So Accelerator has ultimately failed as board chairman. And I think Hamazura realizes this as well. But I was just curious, what's the direction with Hamazura? What is his character arc going to be? And this seems to be it. Hamazura is fed up of the state of the world. He just sees the hardship and pain of everything, and he's maybe it does need a reset, and if that does mean death, not for his girlfriend, of course. I mean, that's hypocritical. I get it, but if that means, you know, a utilitarian path of causing suffering, which benefits everyone in the long run, like a total reset where there can be a better world for everyone, then he's actually embracing it. And this left me dumbstruck, not gonna lie, guys, because this line of thinking is exactly what Fuyama was doing. He wanted to save the world. He saw the world was fucked up. He saw all the pain and suffering of the world, and he was like, I'm going to basically nuke a large portion of it and then rebuild everything from the ground up. That is exactly what Fuyama was doing, and it makes me think about the future of Index. Is this the theme of Genesis Testament? Because we have Accelerator, who's basically, he sees himself as committing atrocities, evil things, and he's trying to atone for that. Accelerator knows how messed up the world is. And then you have Alistair. Alistair also saw the world was messed up, and he wanted to bring about a pure world to make everyone have equal opportunities. And his plan was basically the same as Fuyama's, except they had different means of doing it. Fuyama was under the Christian lens, and Alistair was under the science side or polemic lens. And it makes me think, are Accelerator, Haimura, and Alistair going to form an alliance to try and create a new world where things are better, where war, pain, etc. doesn't happen? Well, I don't know if Toma would embrace that. Toma's always been on the side of saving individuals, but I know he's changed somewhat, so maybe he might not be. So I don't know. Will it be Toma versus the others? Because I could see that happening, like, seriously, guys. And if it does go down that route, I'm so interested to see how that's going to progress. And the philosophical, like, worldviews clashing. And is this the reason why Genesis Testament is called Genesis? Because Genesis is the first book of the Bible. And what happens in Genesis? The very first, pages, God creates the world, basically makes a new world. Is this what it's leading to? Is it leading to the fact that Haimura, Alistair, and Accelerator are going to try and create a new world, which is better? This is why I love Index. This is why I love Index. I just find this shit so fascinating. I love it when Index gets philosophical like this. And I feel like it hasn't gone this deep into the philosophical aspects since, like, Genesis Testament 6, where you had the collectivism shit going on and the oppressed groups clashing. And you don't get this deeper lens from the anime. You have to read the novels to get this insight into it. But back to, like, the main plot. Choronzon launches Adicalica, but Index arrives and you spell Intercept to basically divert it into the ocean where no one will get hurt, or it just, doesn't do anything. I mean, the fish might get hurt, but hey, better fish than humans, I guess. But yeah, this was somewhat strange, as I thought it was a bit anticlimactic, because it was like, oh, this world-ending spell was just defeated by spell Intercept. And it's like, why did no one think of this earlier? Like, like you had, like, Dion, etc., Kanzaki, did no one, like, think, oh yeah, maybe we can use spell Intercept to divert it to somewhere else? But hey, maybe that was the plan and Index was told about it off screen. Maybe that was it. Maybe I missed it, I'm not sure. And then Misaka arrives. She's ditched Shokuho somewhere. She just left Shokuho behind, which is kind of a funny moment, I admit. Even though I love Shokuho, of course. But yeah, it's Misaka and Index facing down Choronzon. And Choronzon's like, well, you did this, but literally I can just go to South America and do a different apocalyptic spell. It makes no difference. I'm just going to keep repeating this because I've got like 100 apocalyptic spells to choose from. It's not like, oh, you just stopped me. Well, yeah, it's a bit tough at the moment because, yeah, I mean, Misaka doesn't have the AAA and Index has her knowledge, yes, and she has Offiness on her shoulder. But it's not like these two can do anything to Choronzon. I mean, come on, guys. Like, what are these two actually going to do to Choronzon? It's like night and day. They're just going to get absolutely destroyed. But Toma kind of realizes this, and he's like, these two have no chance unless we have a magician who can utilize Index's knowledge against Choronzon. And basically, Toma does like a last plea. He's screaming in desperation, and he screams for Alistair to come and help. He's like, I know someone who never gives up, who faces hardship. And Alistair causes cracks within Choronzon, and then the volume just ends there. And what I did like about this volume as well is that it's built up that Alistair wasn't entirely a bad person. Alistair was a controversial figure. He did some good, he did some bad. He wanted to bring about good in the world, but he was going down it via evil means. We've seen Alistair progress over the course of Index. He's had a lot of character development. He no longer views the three heroes as pawns. He actually loves Toma, I think, as a son. And this is what's been controversial. Like, Alistair is now the fourth hero of Index, as that's what the epilogue is called. It's called Fourth Hero. And I can't think of another meaning to that other than, yes, Alistair is confirmed as the fourth hero of Index. And I do have a lot to say about that. And I'm making a dedicated video to that, trust me, guys. As you guys know, I've always been under the camp of Alistair should be a villain. I want to see him back to, being evil and pursuing his path of the pure world. Or as an antagonist, I should say. But this volume has made me think about the past of Index, where it's leading to, and listen, you should just watch my next video on it, because I'm going to basically run down all my thoughts about Alistair as the fourth hero. But yeah, let's just say my perspective on things has been absolutely shifted, and credit to Kamachi for that. Just the one thing I hate about this is that it just ends there. We don't know if Coronzon's been defeated. I don't think so. I hope not, because again, I was expecting more from Coronzon if she's going to be brought back. I don't know if Alistair's going to be pulled out of her body, like his soul, and then what body is Alistair going to have next? I mean, it's not like he can roam around as a soul. Is it going to be Alistair versus Coronzon, and they're going to figure out how to stop her once and for all, or is it Coronzon's gone, and then there's going to be something else for him to deal with? I have no idea. I don't know what you guys think, but overall, yes, there are some issues with this volume, but well, man, I can just talk about chapter 4 for days. It's really just broadened my horizons and just made me appreciate what Kamachi is going for on a deeper level. I'm just really excited to see like where it goes, and I'm gonna have to rate it like a 9 out of 10. I just will have to, because I just feel like chapter 4 is that strong. It's just reminded me why I love Index so much, and why I'm just excited to talk about it and make videos here. And I hope you guys feel the same. Stay tuned for my fourth hero video. Let me know your thoughts about the volume down below. And yeah, see you all next time. Bye-bye.